One.
Here we go.
Here we go. Jokey, welcome.
Cheers. That's
All right.
Thank you.
TNT Lofts, Joking Gomes, Jokey Maaki.
Yeah.
Give us a bit of your rundown about pigeons there, Joe. How long you've been involved and your latest trips and a little bit about everything.
Yeah. Well, how long I've been involved? My Topi was a pigeon fancier. I was born in Bara. And I can't say exactly what he did while I was, the day I was born.
Tyrone's asking where's Bara?
Bara? It's quite far from here.
Bloemfontein.
But further in that direction there. Now, Bara is in Mozambique, in but north of Mozambique. My dad used to race there. And yeah, so from a little lighty, my Topi took me into the, he only used to race Merwe cocks, 12 cocks, and they were like, yeah.
Joe, tell me, is it pigeon racing in Mozambique?
I don't know now. There was then from my dad's time, definitely. The Portuguese people love pigeon racing, so it would have been in Mozambique. I think it's gone back now. There is a man, I think Gomes Gomes. I think he's trying to push it there. There is definitely, he's entered birds at the field with the Mozambique. I've seen it with the Mozambique flag. Yeah. Now I don't know, yes. Now I don't know if it's just him or if he's getting the sport going, but there was definitely a big pigeon fraternity. It's a fancy word for Banania, but anyhow. There'll be a few tonight. We'll do that.
Forgot podcast.
Oh, sorry.
Try to introduce your pigeon here.
But it's not my pigeons, a friend I met today.
Yeah.
Only, his name is Podcast. He's decided to join us from a young fancier that came to show me his birds to select. I was very impressed with this pigeon. And we seem to be getting,
the pigeon outside.
I spoke to this man. I said, please support any rugby team, but especially the Bulls. We need you.
Joe, just so that we know the audience out there knows that you, as long as I know you and Tyrone knows you, you're not only the one and only pigeon whisperer.
Oh my God.
So
maybe I'm just only whisper.
You spoke to the poor bird outside.
Yes. No, it's a lovely. It's lovely spirited animal.
By the way, do you know his clock he's sitting on?
Oh, the late Tom Lock, wasn't it? Yes,
Tom Lock's clock.
Two legends.
That's an amazing.
Yes, that's lovely. Yes, Tom's old clock when he used to race still.
Yeah, it's his signature still inside.
Yes.
That's a piece of South African history of racing.
Yeah.
Tom Lock.
Wonderful.
Unbelievable.
You go very far to find a guy that made such an impact on pigeon racing in the country.
Johnny, you did quite well, eh?
Very well.
Tell us a bit about him, mate, because he was I knew, but not too social. Johnny, you did very well.
Yeah, look,
you went down a tossing and thing.
Yeah. Well,
he raced when you were still young.
When I was a young, Tom was still working. He was also friends with my late mate Nick Hutton and Whitey Hutton. They were
they friends?
They grew up in Boksburg North together.
Ah, okay.
And Tom's brother was Willie Lockwood, the trainer. They were all there from Boksburg North and the Diesels and that. They all lived there together. So yeah, the Diesel family. But yeah, and Tom raced and he flew fairly well, but even himself.
What year, when you talking about what year you came back to?
In the 80s, the 70s, Tom flew, I mean, maybe even earlier than that, because I only started flying with my dad in 76, 77. So if you go back, Tom was racing with Nick and all the Boksburgers.
What you're saying is you started flying in South Africa.
Yeah,
my dad had pigeons.
Yeah, my dad had before. That's correct. Yeah. So then I was 16 or 15 or whatever.
Joe told me a story where Joe was actually baptized in the. I can't tell the whole story.
Yeah, you got, please.
But Joe was baptized in the pigeon loft.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, that's fun. I thought the other thing of my dad.
No, I'm talking about the other thing.
Oh my Lord.
Let me take the pigeon drop.
Yeah.
That was the baptism. He tied it on my boot as you walk. My people don't know. He fucking runs away from. He runs away from a pigeon because that's totally not his game. But my dad, took a piece of pigeon shit when I was born, took it there to the widowwood coats and put the cross instead of wine. He fucking used pigeon shit. And that was that. And then I was stuck in the pigeon game.
And that's how Pigeon Whisperer was born.
That's it.
You know, I must tell you, while Joe's going on here, he comes to, well, I mean, he's done it. We send birds to the $1 million, the SM Masters now, but it was the $1 million. And we would go through my babies, select all of the birds, and your weaning age send him through to the $1 million. And then it's, I don't know, it must be 8, 9 months later, I don't know how long it was. But it was a long time later, we had the final in the hall. Joe goes through the basket and says, hey, there's your end. I said, it can never be. Take the basket out, pull the bird out, that's the end. I'm looking at the face, no rings,
I'll tell you a story about me and Jack.
I mean, that's...
I'm in my stock loft. So I thought, I don't know this hen. Let me just find Joe, because you'll remember the ringer.
human DNA test.
Yeah. So I go and I say, Junkie, this hen, John, how's she bred? Can you send me a photo of the face? What's the photo of the face? Send it to him, goes back. Okay, I recognize her. She's bred so and so, she's the grandchild of so and so, and she's a good
Goodness.
So how do you remember pigeons' faces,
It's
John?
weird. And
He's going to lie to you now.
I actually don't know. It's quite true. I don't know. It's a weird thing because I think my dad also had that ability a bit when he was younger. And it's
Although he told me himself.
yeah.
He told me there's only Jack in here with the pigeons. There's nobody.
I've seen it. I've been
I've in the last. I'll tell you what happened in the last race. We were basketing birds there. The race I asked him to basket my birds for me. Say basketed the bird. So then he came to me and he said, Russ, don't be surprised at that bird when it's on the Saturday, on the Beaufort West. So I said, hey John, I think my birds are a bit light. So he says, hey John, has Bruce Wallace ever been packed? I said, no. Anyway, that bird won the Fed on the Sunday morning. You won the other test. And I won that Fed. So I phoned him. I said, hey John, that bird won the Fed. Yeah, but I thought it was going to win.
So now,
I'm not surprised.
that's
I knew it was going to win.
nice pigeon.
on that specific race was that I won the Three Sisters. We were sitting, me and Joe came and clocked by me that day. Well, it was actually a Sunday.
Sunday, yeah.
Sunday.
So we sat and we sat at Sunday. Anyway, so the Sunday we sit in there, clocked the winner. I reckon I knew the clock was coming.
Yeah.
So it wasn't too
It's
impressive.
a very tough one.
Yeah, that's it. And that was Bundu.
Bundu,
That's it.
Tell us quickly why his name is Bundu.
Hey, no, that's
Quick,
a
tell me the story.
guy I met when I was in Zimbabwe at the target fishing tournament, and he was an ex-Sulu scout, and he was involved in a lot of things, gave us a lot of stories. Then he became a mercenary in Iraq. Showed me, he'd been blown up I think 3 times, IEDs.
I just got shoot straight
And you see the scars on the man's back. I mean, he was tough as nails. And I mean, he must have been 65 when I was, 68 when I was with him. And
The same way you recently fell on Facebook.
yeah, so that's just, so then, all the stories that he told me, and me and he became actually good friends on the time. That was a week-long trip.
Yeah.
Somehow we had a connection. And I was on Facebook now last week, and I saw a post from his Facebook, and his daughter had posted it and said, unfortunately the man has had a couple of strokes and he can't communicate too well, but if anyone sends a message, she'll then read it to him. And his mate then said on there, ask Bundu, I don't know if I can tell these stories, I don't know, but anyway, ask Bundu if he remembers when we were sent ahead when they were in the military in Rhodesia at the time, to set up a camp, and I was sitting under a willow tree, and the rain was pouring, and all of a sudden a bolt of lightning came between them, hit the tree, turned the tree into matchwood, and Bundu jumped up and said, spread out, let him pick and choose. and it was really a story that I could imagine, because of the stories I've heard from him before. He was such a tough, guy. And so anyway, that cock, in the beginning of the season, he was laid in his wing, and I didn't think he was going to make it. He couldn't get to his nest, whatever. Treated him with a bit of petrol and stuff, get him right. Eventually got to the nest, and eventually he won. He was second fed on, I should say, the second hardest race, the hardest race on the day last year, and then the hardest race of the year, which was obviously the Sunday clocking. Well, I don't know which one was harder, both of them, the Three Sisters, but they were both pretty tough. And
Equally tough.
same race as yours was a bit further. and he won the Fed there. I mean, when you arrived, I saw him. He ran in the loft, prompt, fought for his nest. Didn't worry about food or water. He was just once his nest. Just
Yeah.
I asked you a question quickly about it, Jackie, because you got this theory of the feet and the paratoid. You just explain to people in the decock event.
I think
No, he used his wing, he never walked up. His feet looked that nice. No, his feet are perfect, and I don't know, maybe it was better tough, maybe it wasn't, but obviously a knee injury. But the animal doesn't show that to me as a paratoid.
And so anyway, that's where his name then became the paratoid, which I mean is not really a great name for it.
Because it's maybe not a better.
Nothing useful said to me today, and you can't name, you've got to find a bit of use, you've got to find a decent name. And obviously with his toughness and the way he raced, I thought, fitting the name. So anyway, during that race, so that bird wants, that's a story now, clock about 2 or 3 pigeons and a little blue egg falls. Now, Joe never put the pair together. He obviously had animal both parents, but he never put the pair, and he'd never seen a baby out there. A little blue end lands. As she lands, he said, that's a daisy daughter. I said, Joe, now you're acting, John. Anyway, she walked over the pad, went to look at the thing, get my stock book, have a look, out of the pad, daisy daughter. And I thought,
I'll tell you another story.
To me, that's magic. That's not, never mind the pigeon knowledge. So that's
No, that is not the whisper for nothing. When Tom Locke sold all his pigeons, he made a deal with me that I could buy 2 pairs out of the race lot. Tyrone Barnard bought them. Yes. So they were like, and Leon had a whole lot of birds. So the hen section were like, I don't exaggerate them, 300 plus pigeons. So we come there, Joe says, no, we want that hen. So Leon says, hey, I've got to go get the stock books, I've got to go through everything to find the hen. So Joe says, no, I'll go in the loft and I'll catch it. Leon says, you won't. He says, okay, give me a chance. Goes in the loft, catches the hen, brings it out. We don't know if it's the right hen, brings it out. And Leon says, okay, I'll have to get the book to check if it's the right hen. It was 100% green, like he had said. So he does remember the faces,
Something it's
No, but you know what the thing is, it's not even, if I look at this card, and maybe by chance, 3 weeks time, Avery, I can say, I've seen him, I know him, that's who he is. But never seen him in my life. And I'd say, that hen's son.
Or you would say, well, if you pick a cock like you did now, say this cock's intelligent, he can sit outside the basket and sit with us.
Yeah, because that's another thing. This cock, I mean,
he knows us.
he raced this year.
Yeah,
so
well.
Yeah,
He's a winner.
and the guy holding up for Joe to select, and then he's asked Joe to pair him up to some of Joe's pigeons, and Joe said, look, he's an intelligent bird, then let him sit there. Okay, I mean, Mark Raffles was now for flying around. But he seems that he's got some grays there.
Amongst friends, so he's fine.
But anyway, so to me, recognizing faces is one thing, but to look at a pigeon and tell you how it's bred or that it's out of this area is another
The other
story.
thing, Jackie, you talk about you don't agree with the inbreeding and the wild breeding. No, just your.
After many years of, people will know I'm not the hardest working pigeon fancy. So that's a very true story. I'm sorry I'm messing this up. I hope there's no cops watching. I hope Cat's not watching. I was tossing the birds 25 times a day. Sorry, Cat, did you watch your question?
What's that today?
The knacker.
Yeah, no.
But anyhow, so, no, look,
But did you toss it a few times a day?
Look,
when I felt like it, I had great results.
I can be honest with you, and I've told him, I've told everyone. I said, look, they're going to get Joe to come select because I said 100%. Yeah. Let him select yours, let him go through. But whatever you do, don't take racing advice. Because only Joe can race like Joe.
But it gives you a lot of drinking time. I must tell you, when I used to drink, I had a lot of spare time on my hand. And on my hand ended up a beer or brandy.
So,
People must do something with their hands. You don't necessarily have to drive a car and toss pigeons.
What I say, idle hands, devil's work.
Yes.
There we go.
But if you put a beer, or when I was younger, something else softer and warmer. But I won't go into those
You know,
details.
just talking about that time. I also tell any novice, like I told Jaku, would you take Joe's advice on the selection, but not Joe's system?
Definitely.
But on that, I must say, I've been racing with Joe, more than 30 years.
This one, to be honest with you, the one, look, I'm sorry.
No.
But his one of success stems directly from that.
I think that is exactly what it is.
But that's what he tried to develop. But just over and above that,
I
let's
think
get
he got lucky. I don't think he tried it.
Yes. I got very lucky and she was blonde. Sorry, I'm married, I shouldn't say things like that.
you married, Jack?
Take it, Tom.
Yeah, I remember how many times you asked me to get married?
Yeah.
And
No. Let's get into that story.
Yeah.
He said to Denise, now we're
We're
going
not
to
going to
talk
Russia.
Now Denise is going to come and shoot us.
when the Blue Bulls
Oh,
win the carry
God.
cup, I'll propose to you.
She's going to love hearing
I think
this.
they won 4 years in a row, you never proposed to me.
So you broke your word.
Aye.
But Joe, just going back,
Bad memory.
I've been racing with you 30 odd years now.
Yeah.
Tyrone's been racing with us
That's a newbie since last week.
50 years.
15 years now. 15 years.
15 years.
Yeah.
Looks prettier now, I must say.
Good one.
Over that,
Good wife.
over that period, in black and white, nobody in the field or the union has got Joe's results. When I say his results, I mean, maybe he has been, but like club champion he's been, but union champion either be second or birds.
All birds.
All birds.
No, all birds. You
All birds, no, I'm saying second in the single, all birds. And over and above that, the all birds that he wins with a handful of birds. Like,
and he wins it by
thousands of birds. So your record speaks for itself, Jackie. But
and that's
not everybody can
that's
race
right.
like you.
That's racing against guys that are putting in effort.
Yes.
And doing the right thing. And then you go into the one lofts. And I said to Ruan from Africa, I said to him, you know, we actually sat at dinner camp. And it was this shit. And I had to go ring birds while Joe's loft and this and that because he was in the game park or whatever.
Joe, you've been touring a lot there.
Or looking at flowers.
Looking at flowers. There's nothing wrong with looking at flowers. Yes. There I couldn't see any
I
flowers.
saw you with Roland Bowers.
Oh yes, very famous man.
He's jacked.
Very lacquer.
So you become a bit of a...
Lonnie.
So we
No,
go.
only Lonnie. You don't get many.
No, you don't.
In a Durban, you get... No, mustn't I say that? I'm allowed to fluke. When you let it slip.
So
That's what my cherry said. That's funny. Oh, you're allowed to be beat.
no, so
Sorry.
anyway, so what I was going to say to yourself, so you just stop from now.
Yeah.
So what I was going to say is that I was sitting with John, and I had to go ring birds for Joe in his loft because he was in the game park or whatever.
I had the same thing. So both of us had to. So Simon was reading.
I went into that loft, and I've never seen so much chaos in my life. It was deep littered to say the least. It was
But the food was picked up.
there was pigeons everywhere. There was a bar full of peanuts. And anyway, I said to her, I think if Dara beats me in another one loft, I think I'll shit myself. I said, how can that be like that?
Stevie Wonder, come explain to you.
We go at that specific race. I end up third in the team competition. Joe, second.
Oh,
Right, okay. Couldn't even win. If he cleaned his loft, he would have won.
We go to the Africa Pro. On the fourth race, I think he's 97. I think I'm leading it. I think I was in front.
Yeah,
I think I
you
was
were,
the black
you were.
jacket leader at that
Yeah.
stage. By the end, I'm out the back door and he's second or third or whatever the fourth. I said, let's get in the speech on it.
Yeah.
I do all.
yeah, but that just gets back to a little bit of a theory that Tyron had. last week,
Yeah.
which I think plays correct for the one-day lofts. That sometimes the jockey, not sometimes, you get a good jockey in pigeon
Yes.
races.
I've
And
seen
then,
it.
so Tyrone was
Bring
saying that, and then that, you can't bring that
Into one of races, you
No,
can't.
Can you just
Yeah, that's
explain a bit on that?
what basically says is that it's very difficult now to you don't want to say things that people think that you arrogant or
No.
I've been long distance shaping a couple of times.
3 years in a row now.
Yeah, and
Federation, 3 years in a row.
yeah,
That's
once
that's-
in the GPU. Yeah, but anyway, so and we sat at Africa Pro, and they went 600 kilometers.
We're talking about the final.
The final, yeah, they went 600, and it was a hot day. And anyway, the winning velocity was a 1350, which shouldn't have been too difficult.
No.
Like I say, I won the Three Sisters, which I think is an 800 and something kilometer race.
Yeah.
Hot clock the next day, I won the Fed. And not only won them, I got a couple of things, The Craddock was where that was second Fed. And
you're a fair long distance checker.
so I had a decent season on the long distance. So anyway,
Were you honest checking?
yeah.
I'm just checking. Were you honest checking?
Yeah, let's not get too deep down that hole. But anyway, so I sat there at the complain. The birds just wouldn't arrive. Look, I had birds arrive that I bred for over an hour, which I suppose is 28 or 26 or something.
That's not bad.
Not bad. Look, it's for the wrong team, and I suppose.
That's.
But anyway, my own birds that I bred, that I thought were the thing, they weren't arriving, and I sat to my wife, this is impossible. That these birds are coming so late from this type of race. I mean, this race, they should at least be close within 5 minutes of the only 2 minutes. Yeah. They should be within 5 minutes. I hope. So anyway, the whole point of the story is I think that I might be giving my birds a bit more of an advantage in my own loft compared to what they'd be maybe.
So what you're saying is you would be conditioning them a little bit more, a little extra, extras for the distance.
And that's
what a one-off would be.
Yeah, and look, and that's and I'm not taking a knock at any of the one-offs. I mean, you're going to run a one-off now soon, and you'll know the whole story. And I think Ruan's a brilliant trainer. I mean, he broke the records in the Cape. A great young fancier.
Yeah, also a big fancier in his own right.
100%, and you've got Oakland Barney here of Susa. I mean, an absolute champion in Victoria.
Legend.
He is, and he runs Dino King Lofts. So you can never. I mean, all birds in the combine and the single, even the single bird is right up there,
Yeah.
And so these are great fences. I can't say they don't know what they do, but I think it's just a much harder. You've got 2,000 pigeons or 1,200 pigeons, and you've got from all different lofts, and then some aren't the same quality, maybe and it's also tough. Maybe I'm sending birds I think are great, and they're not, But anyway, so
but you're sending out the same bloodlines, the same pairs, or you're sending out your second best.
No, my very best.
That also makes a difference.
Yeah, I put myself at a disadvantage in my own loft to enter the one loft. But
well, that's what you say there is actually amazing, because if you've sent your best to the one loft, and you're still federation
Long distance
champion 3 years in a row,
you've got a bit of depth of quality.
Yeah.
And
which he has.
The thing is that I think it's difficult for them to bring birds on for. Obviously, I can also pick birds that I say should race this week. My bird might not be on 4. When it's in their hands, but it has to go. Saturday's the day. It's got to go. So it's not that I wouldn't say I'm better than Ruan or Barney or anything. Okay, it's not the case. It's just the circumstances different. But I do think that I might be helping them a little bit too much, and then when they get there, they maybe don't have. So like that Bunduka, his babies.
Yeah.
When they clock on the Sunday, I don't think it really matters what's going on. They've got a bit of will to get home, fighting that next day. And so his babies, I think, they'll be able to pull it through on one. And
you just give us a little bit of an idea of what you do. You say maybe you put in a bit too much, or maybe you or any jockey we're talking about, puts in a little bit too much effort, not jump, too much effort in the long distance. What do you think you do maybe that they're not doing? Is it feeding? Is it training? Is it look? Is it? I don't know.
There's a, obviously I don't go sitting in everyone's lofts, and I can't say what they do.
No, I'm talking about you.
No,
You're the champion, so you're asking your system.
I can tell you, and I can maybe tell you what I think, what I hear what guys say,
Yeah.
and fats. A lot of guys that I hear and say no, you need to feed more mealies, carbohydrates. Carbohydrates. It's not my opinion of what the Versalaga guys. The birds need fats. That's what brings them home. So you're feeding. You've got to feed hard. You've got to train hard. Toss them twice a day. Not far. They go to Heidelberg's 30, 35 kilometers.
Toss them twice a day.
Twice a day. Morning, afternoon. And then so they'll go on the truck, 100 k's on Tuesday, twice on Wednesday, 30 k's, twice on Thursday, 30 k's, 30 k's. And to me, that's that's stepping it up. So when I start off, I won't be doing it that much. And maybe that's also why I do well, because I don't do all the effort in the beginning, and the birds are burnt there. I don't know, but
then your points aren't that high up in the beginning, and then
no,
so
I'm not there. I'm obviously not like leading it.
not short distance champion.
No, I have been the combine short distance. On the same system. But I think maybe that's, maybe I could possibly start tossing like in the beginning and talk even better.
Yeah.
But then I would sacrifice the distance.
You think so?
I don't know. And my problem is that I enjoy long distance racing. I enjoy those birds that break away. You're not running around clap with 100 birds landing.
Yeah.
Enjoy it when a bird comes and he's work for his paycheck.
Yeah.
Gets home and
Honest with
watch him walk in and he goes to his hen or he goes to eat peanuts or whatever the case may be.
Do you race for widow or do you race?
Yeah, it's a semi-wooded system, the old birds, young birds separate and fly to a perch, which I think also helps when selling to a one, because
you see that's the other thing, because now you're racing on widow route, you're racing on the way you toss, you're feeding, and now you're sending birds. They obviously race well on the distance, but they send those birds to a one loft and they don't get any of that.
yeah,
They race to a perch, they race to the food that they get, and the tossing that the loft gets.
I can be honest with you. I think
So that's sometimes where it might be the jockey's better than the.
and
They got more out of the pigeon than
what's naturally available. And what I think is to be honest with you, I've had a bit of success in the one-off races myself. Not like Joe, like I say, he keeps beating me. We'll have a go now. But the big thing is, I think my success in the one-off comes, I got it by luck. My base cock came from Stephen Dowd.
I think luck plays a part.
Everything. What I mean is, I could have gone on board pigeons from a great dancer that take a lot of work to win, and I could have the same success. But when they get to a one-off, you won't have the success because they need that work. They need that person who's polishing those 20 birds for a weekend.
Yeah.
And not just when they go in the basket, they got to go. Which, anyway, I ended up buying the pencil car from Stephen Dowd, and Stephen was probably worse than Joe. You know what I mean? And the birds raced every week. And anyway, I bought the pencil car from him. And so I got the genetics that can work with no graft. Yeah. Then I put the graft in, and you get the success in both places. Yeah. But it wasn't, like I said, I don't think it was.
I mean, if I can just jump in here and tell you about Stevie said, just reminisce a bit of Stephen Dowd. If I'm in the mood to toss birds, I've been there by Gert, I got the bucky in. I find
So you got him now. He has to decide when he's going to toss.
Yeah, that's
If
it.
he's in the mood to toss,
He's in the mood. And then if Stephen can get in, so the bird's got about a toss every 6 months.
Brilliant, yeah. So I'll phone Stephen. I said, Stevie, yeah. No, I said, John. I said, listen, you're going to come with a quick toss for me. Say 25 k's up on the Woodback Highway. He says, my birds are just in the air, but just give me 10 minutes. I'll get them in. And I'll catch them. And that's what Stephen did. The birds, are like if you fly them, they land. They come with these two, can I say fucked up?
Yeah.
Oh, can I? Two fucked up white baskets with steel wires and cup like that. With these 15 birds each. Put them in there and he says,
Yeah.
he has $100. I said to him, you're not giving me $100. Get paid for the diesel or petrol. No. Then we go, we open the birds, and then on the weekend it's me and him battling for the first prize. That's weird.
You know, the other thing I just want to subject.
So that's what I'm saying. It's just, it was this guy that didn't want to do anything.
It was subject, right?
No,
Joe was on his heels.
Yeah, no, but it is weird.
But the other thing about Stephen, just quickly, and guys always are hacking about lofts and pitch roofs and
Oh my god.
and all that stuff. Stephen's loft was a sauna.
Yeah.
Because it was only corrugated
Yeah,
all round, and there was no fresh air in there.
there was a lot of fresh air because the door was falling
The
off.
door was open. And you had that to
Yeah, no.
you break up, you knock your head.
And that's, I think that's something maybe to also mention. I don't know if this is for the beginner or who this is for, but
That's for everyone.
my loft, when I sold my house in the year of the park and moved there to Rafield,
To the Lani area.
the hell of Hollywood. I said, no, I'm going to build myself a loft and I'll never have to change.
But Joe loft's also been criticized.
Yeah. And look, and it's been fixed as I go. You know what I mean? I put sliding doors. I closed it up. It was too cold for loft. But I think a lot of guys get there and not to sound funny, but they look and see, what a lovely. I said, the loft's built for me. Doesn't mean it's good for pigeons. I can walk in the passage, I can carry a basket in the passage. It's 7 foot tall ceiling so that I can walk. They're wide. Doesn't mean it's comfortable for me. Doesn't mean it's comfortable for pigeons. You know what I mean? Because I've obviously seen Stephen Guard's thing. And that's the main thing, is that doesn't have to be extravagant.
No.
If you go back to Joe's loft, when I first met Joe, he lived in 6th
Street.
Street. It was very similar, but one thing you can pick up when you get there to Joe's loft, the pigeons love the loft.
That's the thing.
And the pigeons love Joe. I can tell you, when Joe goes in, you can talk to this one and say, hey guys, check how she mates to me, check how this cock fights me. The pigeons, there wasn't a lot of pigeons, but they loved it. They loved the loft. The loft was filthy.
Yeah.
There were mice running in the loft. I said, Joe, what about the mice? No, don't worry, there's chick in the water. That was his
My
answer to
little
me.
cat.
Yeah.
My cat used to
And
go.
then the stock loft, there were guinea pigs.
Yeah.
Guinea pigs running under to keep the rats away. It was completely the wrong setup. And in those years, we had unconventional setup. Not wrong in my mind.
Yes, because it's not what you've been told. When you see this extra loft,
and then in those days, I remember a guy called Joe, remember Gerald White. So we ran a special book for the pools. It wasn't involved, the club wasn't involved. So you would pull your bird outside the club's money, but you'd come and put it there. I don't want to exaggerate, but 9 out of 10 times. 9 out of 10. Joe would win the pools.
No, listen.
And
I raced against 1822.
Oh, me too.
I raced against
1818.
Oh, 1818.
1996. Remember?
Joe went up on a Thursday. I said, can I give you my pools? Just go. No. And then I actually give him the money on the Thursday.
But you know what that does? To me, the biggest thing in pigeons.
Yeah.
The biggest thing in pigeons. Exactly what you're saying about. I'm not a good example, but perhaps I am. If you want to, the most difficult thing in pigeons is to breed a champion bird. It is the most difficult. You ask great pigeon fanciers, how many true champions have they bred in their life? And I must probably tell you, not many. So if they're struggling to breed great pigeons, it's difficult. You know, you get good pigeons that win. They're not necessarily, they're on that day, they do the job. Well, exactly what you're saying. They do their thing. But the secret is, if we could just, and I still think DNA will one day help pigeon fancies with.
I think it'll ruin it.
Yeah,
Ruin the mystery. It'll ruin it.
But I can just mention something there.
It's the same as the GPS rings that the guys.
Yeah, that's the.
You know, if you can put your phone on now and say, oh, well, my pigeon's in Bloemfontein.
And I can go away.
Okay, my pigeon's now in Boxburg.
Yeah.
And then
That's
you
away
say
the
this
misery.
Yari is.
You can't down the seconds.
Waiting, where is he? Why isn't he here? Whatever.
It's like a fisherman waiting for the bite.
100%.
It's like his wife waiting for him and he's gone out joining at night.
No,
She's 5 o'clock in the morning. Here he is.
She doesn't wait.
She's
And
a
I would
bullshit.
laugh with him at the time in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we both get flipped badly.
Oh, it's terrible. Tyrone's not like that.
Child,
Oh, is she?
trying to chase the sun.
And
A good lady.
the
I'm
same
sad
thing
for
with
her.
the DNA. You know, if
But just getting to that, that's already been done, by the way.
no, but I can guarantee you, Russ, and someone will say that I'm wrong, but it's the same as AR. You know, AR, I'm not going to write you a poem like,
Tears,
whatever the
tears,
case may be,
yeah.
or write you some money.
Or something like Joe.
Oh, yeah.
Joe the passion, eh?
My music, yes. Writing songs, yes.
Or paint your painting. I don't think it can do
I
it.
can't give you a Picasso.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And that's,
Young Russell says it depends on the info that you
Yeah.
feed the AI,
yeah,
but you take away the human touch.
that mystery. And I think that's
It's like having sex with a robot. Would you do that? I still like a warm chick. Thanks very much. Sorry, am I not allowed to say robot?
Robots, what's the name? Not politically correct.
AI is not what you're thinking. Eh?
What is it?
Anal injection? No. I was not
Who's medical?
It's medical.
You're medical.
I'm a medical. Nothing. He hasn't blinked an eye. Have you? Oh, another thing. I want to tell you. I want to tell you a story about great pigeons.
Yeah.
That and you know, you saw it once with me many years ago. Sorry, many years ago. Remember, Russ? We had $1 million auction at the Banana Club. You bought a checker, pearl eye, rung on the left, white ring, German egg, pearl eye. So, and I said, Russie, you asked me, Joe, what do you think of this? And I said, there's something wrong with her eye. And you tried her and she was not a success. Now, if you look at that cock, okay, now,
You're talking about the pupil that was.
the eye wasn't right.
Yeah.
But if you look now, he's doing it. Now just because I'm speaking about it, he's doing the opposite. But you look at a great pigeon, he's blinking his eye now. The great pigeons blink less than the average birds. So now he's blinking a lot because look at now he's doing that. But when he's not in the mood of, it makes sense because if you're flying and you're homing, the more you're blinking, surely, if you can keep your eyes, people clean them out with doxycycline and stuff.
I can't make pigeon flower.
Yes, that helps him, but if you get that naturally, and hopefully he passes that natural ability into his children.
But another thing.
I think there's something to it. Let's blink, keep your blinkers on the horses. But let him have a shot.
So now if you take the DNA,
Shame, I wonder if
and that birds now, for argument's sake, look
Yeah.
at whether it would have bred or not, we would have done.
Yeah.
John Hennel, lovely pigeon, Osbro, it's not going to breed.
Well, that's my opinion.
The DNA hasn't.
No, but it was proved.
What I'm saying is, the DNA of that bird hasn't changed.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. Yeah. Doesn't show
Because the
that.
R's gone, the DNA hasn't changed.
No, it doesn't.
So you pair that pigeon and they say, listen, this DNA, that DNA, breed you a champion. I don't think it can work.
Now, what I was trying to say,
Yeah, but I'll get back to you on that.
DNA, what I was trying to say,
Yeah.
let's use that great cock of mine, 2430. What the hell? When you're racing a bird that's so good, you think, what the hell is happening with this bloody thing? Why is he so good? I've got brothers and sisters of his, and and I've got, why is he so bloody good? There must be something in the pigeon. Now, I wonder, I've spoken to a vet that says there's something in the DNA, whether he is or not. If there could be a bit of all I mean is, Bring us some water, Russ. Todd.
Yeah.
Maybe this little pigeon wants water. There's something in the blood or something that makes him different to the average pigeon. Then you know when you're selecting babies, say for one loft,
Yeah,
if you can analyze
that's
that,
going to take the mystery out of it.
it is going to take the mystery, but it's going to make people send that baby. So you analyze he has 50 babies. I don't know what the cost is going to be. It's going to take the mystery away. But I'll be happy out of the 50 to pick the right 5. If I think, look at that. Physically, obviously, they must have it. And then, I don't know if it's going to happen.
I told you about
I'm not sure.
that study there.
Maybe that.
I'm not sure.
Yes, Hardy Kruger's pigeon. Hardy Kruger's.
So they
You
did,
said Hardy Kruger.
yeah, so at the varsity they did the study on the
Yeah.
Hardy Kruger
Animals.
animals on their genetic makeup.
Yeah.
And there was a certain genetic makeup
Trait.
that the good ones had.
Yes.
You can go look it up on the internet.
Okay.
And Stuart actually told me about it. Stuart Rees, the Durban fancy. And I went and looked it up, and it's true. So on the Hardy Krugers, the performing ones.
Yes, the good
So they would take a 50 like you wanted, but the ones that had performed, so Grace does, the ones that performed had that certain genetic trait.
See, so there
is something.
whether it's exceptional health.
I agree with Tyrone, I wouldn't want it to come in.
It will take some of the magic away.
Because that'll take away the art and the science
art.
of the selection
Yeah,
and the matings and
But you know what? Life is evolving, so I think eventually it'll happen. I would. It'll take away, for example, people's advantage that they have over others.
You should have thought of that, man. That's not going to reach to drink.
You just stop it.
to get him some.
Ask Lisbeth for one of those white cups.
Oh yes, he knows.
Did you talk about? Did you mention that dinner?
Yeah. So what I'm saying
I'm just going to go for a slash. You might.
I'm just like a Russian racehorse.
What's your Kiev?
so that
She was a female racehorse, so you must be pissing that.
Joe, what's that? Fancy out to sit now?
Hardy Kruger.
So they did at the Boston test on Hardy Kruger's birds, and those top birds that did perform had that genetic trait, which they can take more air, last longer. And I'm saying to Joe, maybe that takes the mystery out of it, because then you lose the science of selection. And but Joe says the world's evolving, so.
But if that's the case, and they've done it, then Hardy Kruger should be dominating everyone.
He was at one stage.
No, I know he's a great fancy. I think he was great before the dinner.
Yeah, he was.
And
But
that's
they wanted to find out why.
yeah.
Why were those birds dominating like that?
And maybe those good pigeons have got a gene. But to now isolate those, I think I'm not a geneticist, but to isolate that gene and say, look, if you put this or that, this bird will be a gold medal.
No, you can't.
And the same thing goes for the human factor. You put your pictures together and you're lucky.
But we can ask him about that because you, out of everybody I know, talking about pigeon as well.
I know a lot of people.
Yeah,
He's a close second to me on that level. I know what you're gonna
his best birds and medals. I think is no one close to you.
Is it? Think it.
No, sir.
Okay.
So why?
You know, I've always the thing I like the most in pigeon racing, believe it or not, is not winning. That's not it. I've had some of my mates that say they love winning, that race good. I understand that. It's actually mating pigeons. I love it, and I love to make. He won't fly away. You could just push it closer to him. He'll come.
the clocks
Handle, yeah. But if you say he won't sort of fly off, if you give him a match, he'll come on his own when he's ready. What else?
Why have you bred so many best birds or
And
medals? And I mean, the last cock of yours. It's a fact. If it had been a few seconds, I don't know how many seconds better.
you say about, I think that I've got the video.
Say roughly.
Say 5 positions better.
5 positions better would have been the best bird ever. So it's the 6th best gold medal our country's ever had.
Unfortunately, I joined the fraternity.
You came a bit late.
The 6 positions he lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But on that we talk, and then we must just. But we'll get onto that subject just now. That's against top Because we're racing against fences that are imported birds, second to none. There's no spending limit on top quality imported birds. So that bird's special.
Yeah, I think the density of top fancies is
more.
it's well, no, I mean you can't
Doesn't
really
matter,
say
I mean
that.
that. But what I'm saying,
in the world, you know what I'm saying?
I don't know.
but what I'm saying is that Cox done it. We've got
In South Africa, it's quite competitive, I must say.
And I mean in Joburg, the guy, where we race,
It's put in effort.
I've put in it. I mean, there's
Guys are
guys.
professional in
A lot of guys own 3-4 lofts. They've got 3-4 loft managers. They've got
transport, tossing, transport.
there's no object.
No, money's no object.
And
But that's what makes pigeon racing. I love, for example, that cock. I had a good cock that raced well. He never won, but I loved him. And you won't remember us. Him and I often go to the Wimpy for a chow. And I raced him. He's about to drink. See now, he's just looking. And he feels confident. That's what I love about pigeons, observing. But anyhow, so your animal, that's the 493 was his name. I stopped him as a 2-year-old. Headwinds. He never won it, like boy or boy. He was a bit of a larger bird, so if I didn't work, he always tended to be a little bit on the,
A little bit like you.
a little bit like me. Built incredibly beautiful. So, and he started coming up, but I found, and then he bred me good pigeons before. And one day I went with my friend, Mace Slippers, walking. One of my tragic.
We'll tell that story just now about Masons. Why we wrote that trip called Masons.
So anyhow, we ended up getting drunk there again, somewhere there in Victoria. But anyhow, so Mark took me to his lofts, and then I said to Mark, I want to get some of you. He said, so I looked there, John. So he said, well, then,
So was that the same day that you were injured?
no, not that. That was an unfortunate another case.
You felt so.
But that was more towards the dark. This was in the daytime. So anyhow, I found this little hen, a daughter money maker, that I liked a lot. Mark said, go, use it.
Is that the mother of that?
The mother of that pigeon. So I took her, and that same day, Mark had a pigeon called Mirage, and there was a red dog, and he was a red, famous pigeon of Mark. Even now they're doing well all over.
No box of defense?
Yeah, and that Mirage was a good one. And that little pigeon had a daughter there, I think her number was 9945, a redhead, that I wanted to get from my partner Gert. Because he loved the colours, but I wanted to get him a decent red, not just a red. And then Mark's dad was not very keen, but he said, okay, Joe, use it. And then eventually Mark's dad said, okay, you can buy it. But I took those 2 hens, and boy oh boy, those 2 hens had immediate impact. Immediate. Across. So I went and found, that's what I love about pigeons, is you might have a bird here, the breeding, that's good, but you must find...
I can tell you a few stories quickly, Tom.
You gotta find
a few stories of
the right
Joe.
little animals.
We had an old gentleman, gentleman racing in the 90s. That was Jimmy Brooks.
Jimmy.
He was
Russell's father.
He was a top class gentleman.
What a nice guy.
So Joe goes to his house and handles the birds. He didn't race so much, but he was
a nice person.
But a champion, okay. And Joe said to him, this bird, this hen, will breed best birds. So Jim said, you think so, Joe? Yeah. Joe, you take her and breed her. First year, best bird in the Nani Club.
U1757 was.
We had another guy in our club called Anton Willifield. It's a little bit before your time. Had good birds from what's his name? Also
Perfect Bear.
Legend.
Perfect Bear, man, what was his name? Come back now.
Come back to us now, but legend. He had a red bird. But he said, no, red birds don't form. They won't race well. Joe said, lend me that red hen and I'll prove to you. It was a massive race farm. I can't tell you how many. I can't tell the birdage in those days, but it was thousands of birds. And she won
by 7.
Okay, so Rusky, I think what we must just say now is because there's going to be a bit of cut in the production, but we live in Africa where we battle with loadshedding. So there might be a bit of glitch or continuity issues here. But
I'm still wearing the same underpants.
continuity is fine. Let's carry on. Nothing's changed.
For all the girls that are watching.
What colour they Jacob?
Oh, jeez, that changed.
Skid mark colour.
Yeah.
So how often do you change underwear?
Not often. I try to be very economical. But I do. I handle it the same as my pigeon.
Yeah.
Deep litter.
But to keep it dry.
Yes, that's and well ventilated, by the way.
How's it holding underwear?
Yes, and someone that blows on it from the front. Checking drinking. There's my boy. Drink, my boy.
Drink?
Yes.
Hey,
There you go, my boy. Yeah, he doesn't know clean water. He was worried. He was looking for some color. Sorry, John.
We could have got some movie in the shop.
Oh, but he doesn't. He says, no, please. Is that enough for the fucking year? Shabru, that's the best
Check
media.
your white, those.
I must say, and the feather quality on this bird.
Yeah, it's nice.
Now, I can tell you, he impresses me so much in intelligence. Now, a bird like this concentrates, you know? It's not wild, he concentrates on the job that's at hand to come out. His heartbeat is low.
You know what,
He can fly for hours, this pigeon.
what he's
Yes,
saying
someone-
is actually phenomenal. And I mean, I've had stories from James Health where you had him and Naomi and you take it to McGinty's
Yes.
and she'd walk on the table. Yeah, and Josh
That wasn't me.
Josh
That wasn't Naomi. That was Angie.
Right.
Naomi was the art. No, Angie the pigeon. Harry Potter. I'm telling you,
And Joe,
Angie. Like
Josh the name comes from
What's
Angie.
the song, John?
I named her after that song.
Who wrote that song?
Keith Richards and Mick Jagger. Now that little pigeon won the union from Craddock on Toon Pool at 5 years old. And Tom still said to me, why do you put old rings on the head?
Tom Lock.
Tom Lock. I said, no, Tom. It was an old end. It was overnight, like an overnight anniversary. I won over 18 grand. That was in 98 plus 5, what's that?
about $3.
2003. My dad and I was still getting drunk there with Dries and all the oaks at the thing was late father, my son still
you haven't mentioned
What I was going to say,
old friend of yours, sorry man,
Yes.
Tom Price.
Oh yeah, that was like my second day. Tom was
Before you, Bonnie,
Bonnie, come here.
what I was
One
going to
of the toughest oaks, one of the with the best hearts.
What a
I've
joke,
ever met.
what a joke
With the
today
best heart.
Best heart, but
Go funny midnight, come help me. I'm stuck in the desert or I don't know. Tom was the other.
So I've reversed my car.
And so they just said, you know, the only thing with him and my dad. So they were both in hospital one time, both of them were ill. They always, Tom called my dad Mr. Gomes, and my dad called him Mr. Price. They never called each other Fernando.
They're the same age.
And my mom, used to say Mrs. Gomes, not Sarah. The greatest respect, and Mrs. Price, that was Tom's wife. My dad always used to bring a Portuguese doll from Portugal. She used to collect these dolls. Tom, because she was a Lebanese lady.
be careful what he's bringing back from Port of
No,
Tom Price as well.
no, she had a collect. When Tom passed away, the dolls were still there.
Well, look, the legend has it, he fell from 5 stories.
Not legend.
Yeah.
Everyone ran away. He was.
My mate Henry Kruger, who was very close to Tom, used to go visit him in hospital, and Henry told me the oak was swollen up. He was swollen.
Yeah, you could just,
I don't know how he survived.
yeah, he fell, he was, and he said to me himself, he says, he can't believe he survived.
I've never seen him show pain or feel pain in one night at the club. I was like, hey, Tom, what's wrong with you? He said, I never booked for pain tests. But he never told anybody that he was in pain. Or,
No, he's a tough old man.
yeah,
That
but
was,
that's
that was like Bundu, like you say.
Yeah.
Tom was, you know, he used to take his hands. I told you that's like my second talk to that day. His hands. He wells. They're by the pigeon club, he wells.
And he had a
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the one finger was off. He's like, my dad had the one finger off, yeah? Where off? And Tom had, yeah. And when he pulls the zaps up, you know, he normally go like it. Tom went, fuck you, man. Sorry.
And your dad had this one missing because you did not choose to know that he was there.
all the nuns.
But my late, when
Joe,
my dad
just
died,
another
my brother said he lost it. I never knew. I never asked my father. The day my dad passed away, so sorry, I'm my boot's a top surgeon, so and he looked after my father. So when the man was 90, he had a good innings. and
top personality as well.
I believe so.
John Field.
His one figure of my dad was something. He said my dad lost it when he was a younger with a grinder, and through that money that he got, he came to Mozambique. Amazing, eh?
Now these are school who shall cut the things off and then insurance money. Nothing changes.
Yeah, my dad. I never knew that. I put this because my dad was my
But you're the ultimate, aren't you?
well, I've been told I'm the prettiest, but
No, you're definitely the princess, but you're the oldest.
I think so. Yeah, by about 5 years.
Maybe you should
Jack, your dad will look like that. Did you know how to work clocks and things?
Man, that would have taken too much work.
Deep blood supply water peanuts easier.
Yeah,
Okay, but just on another
And stop there by Stevie Wonder and the ball.
that we don't all agree with. Now, a very good friend of mine, Mel.
Oh yes, Uncle Mel.
Yeah. He said something interesting in the shop here one day, and then you had something else to say. So Mel said about inbreeding.
Yeah.
So Mel says, if you don't have money,
Yes.
you inbreed to try and
Carry on.
carry on.
Yeah, no.
And Joe,
I've got something else.
okay, no, you can say. And then Joe said, but I don't inbreed, I cross everything. There's no inbreed.
Yeah.
So go, Joe, you go first. Okay, wait.
Give me a minute. Joe
Joe will go
does.
on for 2 hours.
And I'll be honest with you, the crossing story is a lesson I've learned from Joe. I can tell you, all my gold medals, silver medals, bronze, all those birds that I mentioned, if you've still got it, all those birds.
Can I just ask you something?
Yeah.
Have any of them got the bronze conch?
Yeah.
So he was a bit.
So what happened?
He was a
So he's a product of a inbred pigeon.
of a trial. I don't see inbred. They call it
so
inbred.
that was old Joe.
That was the third pigeon you stole from me, just like that.
Yeah. So it's the old Joe with his
luck.
granddaughter
Yes.
bred the chocolate cock.
Yes.
The
I'm
chocolate.
sorry, I meant the chocolate.
So the chocolate cock.
Yeah,
So the chocolate cock never bring me a gold medal. But
But
I'll
he's
be honest
not
with
talking
you,
about his.
I only had him for about 2 years, and then he became my best stocker. Well, I must have had him about 3 years. So I mean, obviously the first year I couldn't breed him, but I think I had 2 seasons.
No, you only bred with him 2 seasons.
And
Because you had him there for your daughter, remember?
yeah,
Joe.
That's an old trick of time.
No,
That's
okay.
for my wife, that's for my daughter, that's for
From
my
the house door, you bring them back at
I
the
will never get my pigeons back from the house.
He's running out of people to blame.
No.
For my garden
I
boy.
do have a lawyer that will be seeing him shortly. But
I've got what's another fancy in Banani? I've got 2 lawyer ends. Oh, waiting.
You gotta go see lawyers for that.
so anyway, so old Joe 2 is going, which I think I bought 10202. Or
No,
I
you
bought it.
I bought old Joe.
No, I'll Joe.
So I bought 10202.
Yes.
So we paired them together.
That's right.
That was the original
That was the
trick
original
there.
trick there.
That's it. Right
And I
there.
think
You never
that's
been there.
that's how it worked.
You didn't get in, but just remember, when I lent you,
No,
I gave it back.
I think I took about 5 rounds before I gave you one. But anyway, then I think old Joe you put to his granddaughter, which then bred you the recessive red cock, which we call the chocolate cock.
Yes.
And the sister was blue. So I must tell you,
Okay,
my good mate gave me the chocolate one because
No. Let's get the story
he kept the blue in for himself. I must say that.
Joe, let's get the story right. I never ever kept anything for myself. This guy came his daughter liked
The chocolate pigeon.
and I gave it to his daughter. I told him he's not allowed to breed.
But also Lando, on the way there, I said, listen, when we get there, there's a red pigeon. You just say that's the one. And anyway,
Yes.
But
So,
anyway, that was-
child labour at the young age.
she's
She knows.
responsible for it all. Anyway,
I'll train.
we get anyway, I end up with this chocolate cock. And within the 2 seasons I bred with him, he became my best cock. You know, that's sitting next door to the pencil cock.
But just on that, I just want to hop on that quickly. When that old Joe, he got the name Old Joe because of him.
Because Joe liked him.
When he was born. He liked him when he was born.
Yeah,
That's another thing. How do you like a pigeon when he's born?
yeah.
He went to Whiteley, said, no, this is going to be your best pigeon.
And he was an uncle then of
He's done
The pencil cock. Yes,
Before
yes, half uncle, that's right. They both out of the
Not Peacock.
So anyway,
Bobby Jansen, another legend.
So that's one guy you should have here.
Yeah, we will have him.
Not so much swearing, please.
yeah,
Tom's
he's
a
a gentleman.
gentleman.
Yeah, he won't fit in here.
But we're all gentlemen. Especially when you want 15 years, it's smaller.
No, so
Like Stephen Bennington, he went 15.
He won't fit in.
yeah, you'll be able to give us some advice.
Stephen knows a lot about it.
So what I was going to say was, so I got this chocolate. He became my best stocker.
So, but on that, he was. Is it inbred or? I don't know if it's inbred.
Well, look, to us, I mean, it depends how you define the term.
That's what I'm asking.
Well, look, inbred can mean brother, sister, aunt, niece, or aunt, nephew, uncle, niece. You know, you can go grandfather, granddaughter. It just depends how you define the term.
You know, we can also, who else we can have in here is Ahmed and Kenny. He bought the whole Tom Lock collection. And we raced against him.
Yeah.
Very good.
And he's a superstar.
So now
So we can ask him a bit about that.
what you were saying was, so anyway, I got the recessive red card, which obviously was the G100. And then when after 2 years, I mean, my wife, I'll never forget, she phoned me.
Check out that picture, sorry, he's listening to you. What
No,
shit
no,
is this I'm talking? Check out that picture.
He wants to be mated to his grandfather.
He says, Tyrone, have you got something there? You're talking about spakering and there's others watching you, John. Have you watched it?
And-
Not looking at us.
And she gave me the number. I think it was like
Did he drink?
Yeah, drink a like it.
I think the number was like 7905, something to that effect. That was something like that.
But good with it.
The chocolate
Cup.
something like that. And look, I mean, it doesn't sound great now because it was my best stocker, but it's a while ago. And anyway, so
It's what Tyrone forgets easily.
yeah, so he then, yeah, she said, listen, this pigeon's died. She said the number, and I was driving, and I said, is it the red card? Because I recognized the nice. You don't want to believe it.
Believe that, that good young cock.
I said, no, that's the red card.
Why would he die?
Perhaps, you know,
You think it's the.
maybe because it was inbred, maybe there's a thing, maybe it was nothing. But at that stage, you had other birds also getting sick in your loft.
I think I had a bit of an issue.
Yeah, so it could have just been his but coming back to inbreeding, and I mean over many years, there are certain, maybe I've heard there's certain families that respond positively.
The Tom Lock Super Pair is supposed to be one
Yes,
of the pairs
one of the-
of inbred.
I think both of them.
I don't know.
I think the egg cock, they're both inbred.
And Ahmed.
4869 is the super pair that died, I think is a number.
You handle both of them.
4869, I think, or 48, beautiful old hen, that little hen.
Give me your opinion on both those pieces.
I preferred the hen. And she was now I'll tell you when Tom, many years ago, myself, Nick and Whitey, Tom won the car race. We were flying against VPU, all those people. And there was a direct daughter of, what's that, what was the hawk? The hawk that actually won the car. So she beat all those people in front, and Tom won the car. So the next morning, Nick, myself, and Whitey went there, and she was a little powder blue, pearlized, soft. What a beautiful
Chicken meeting there.
What a beautiful little hen. Yeah, he's blessed. But he's got trust in us. And what a lovely hen. And
What I want to let me finish up that because I mean we might be jumping around, but it's that. So anyway, the chocolate cock got him. He died. When he died, I got home. I was racing his son. His son was my best racer that year.
yeah,
the Ronskop.
That's the
Ronskop, yeah.
The 1204.
Who's his son's mother?
The off-tail hen.
It's inbred or not?
No.
Off-tail
There's
hen.
an off-tail hen
She comes from Pigeon-Filled
with the cat type
the
of,
cat type cock,
which was
Cannibal, which was also inbred.
I answered Yasin on Pigeons today. He was asking a question about that cat type, so I just answered him about that.
Yeah,
this lady bird, just sorry, quickly. The bird that won the, what's this race that we just raced with the president?
Also,
He's got a cat type.
How is it?
Well,
Yasin was asking about
Just it's an unusual trait. That obviously you think that
I think that's more. Wow, I think what I know with my cat type was that he got injured.
that he said to me that when I picked him into, he said the walk.
different day.
Now another hen that I've got, also I know she wasn't born like that, and I know that was an injury. But now That was post-racing. This little character that won now, he's got this while he's racing the day. I handled him the day after he won the race. Got that thing, I think, what's going on here? I've actually seen, and I've seen birds with both sides like him. Yeah.
But a sneaky mix.
This is what
So, well, let me finish that whole story. Let's finish that story. So anyway, so I went and got the bronze cock. I'm not sure for. I took him up my fluid section, put him to stock. Immediately. I said, look, that's my best stock. He's not there. I need to replace him. I need to take his best son. Put his best son to stock.
Did you say best? Is he race well?
Yeah, on the distance, he was
my best bird.
He was one of the best long distance birds in the club.
Yeah.
He was showing all the time, Tyrone.
And it was in the races.
Yeah.
And I went and
You needed him, but
that's it. Then he had bred me, since obviously putting him stock, he bred me against Scotch Lass, who won the $250,000, which was a short distance race. Funny enough, but anyway, he won the short distance. Then he bred me 12692, 12693. He bred me a lot of very, very good pigeons. But while I say 12962 or 3, who's the person?
The 9293 is the blue pearl eye.
The head. Bred me 12692. So, but crossed. The crossed bred me the Grizzle and Scotch Lass, which was the bronze cock to the Grizzle N from Moray. So 126, so it's a full cross. So 12692 is a full cross. Then I took 12692 and I paired him to 2425, which is the Joko, to 10761. Now 10761 is the pencil cock that line.
And Paloma is
also in there. But basically you on from the Arnie side, Arnie had crossed the Grizzles to his birds. I took Joko, which is Arnie bird, crossed it to my.
So what you're going to do is all cross pigeons.
No, but it's not really. It's not really because now I'm taking an Arnie bird and I'm crossing it to a pencil cock, right?
Yes.
And the.
But then you going against Joe's.
No, but it's not quite
in there. That's more line
breed. It's more line breed. So the family.
But you against any of that, Joe? Right.
No, I'm not against it. What it is, exactly what Mel said. If you haven't got the budget, you've got to make do with what you have. You know what I mean? So, but in majority cases,
as the Larkin says, he can show you 10 out of 10 Barcelona. 10 out of 10. All crosses.
But now 12692, we've got the Grizzle cock paired to 2425, which is Arnie Moray pencil. That then in turn bred me my silver.
To what?
No, that's it.
Oh, exactly.
So it's on the one side, it's the bronze cock to the Grizzle end of Arnie Moray.
Yes.
Paired to Joko, who's Arnie Moray, paired to the pencil cock, which is bronze.
So there's a little bit of everything.
but the Grizzle there, her father is the Grizzle.
No, so
that was a cross.
But I don't
Was
think
he the Grizzle? What was the matter? You know that.
I don't think that's very.
But not does it now? It's further down, and it could be even though it's Arnie stuff. Maybe I think if you go and look at Joko's pedigree, the Joko's father remembers a checkered deep cock.
I just want to say something
different. Totally different.
Joker is also a stolen pigeon.
Oh yeah. I believe so. Yes, I hear that.
Because you started from John Phil,
John's
a hijacker.
You know, he's gonna.
But he would have done. John didn't even race long distance.
No,
John wanted about 600 k's was too far for John.
Then he came around the compound long distance.
Let me just defend John there. John's not a crop.
I won't say he's a crop because when I've got gut, I'm the crop baby by John.
Yeah.
He's got to give me the injection.
But let's get Tyrone is a renowned pigeon thief.
Oh yes, he's very good at it.
You're good at it. Subtly.
Are you going to call it stolen TNT Lofts or what? Or TNT
You
stolen
need
Lofts?
to change it.
What are you going to do?
There's a fancy that's hot on top that I need to make some mates with. So
But another computer genius.
Whoa!
well,
But that's not how.
so and then another discussion I had at that pro race was with Jan Hoijmans.
Oh yes.
You're name dropping.
Oh.
No.
Whoa, that got me young boy, man. Eh?
What is he, Chinese?
That's a discussion with him. And I said, look, you know, obviously I assumed, and I said, you know, obviously you guys have to breed to what the market dictates.
Dictates, yeah.
Whatever the market
That's
dictates.
what I consider, because they breed for the pedigree to sell it.
Yes.
So that's what I said to Jan. I said, Jan, look, you guys, I mean, you breed to what the market, and I said it to him, I said, you breed to what the market that dictates. But what do you think is the right way to breed? And Jan said to me, he said, Tyrone, I don't breed for the market. I breed for my heart. He does.
Does it?
He does. And he says, I breed for what I think is right and what I think will work.
Interesting.
That's got nothing to do with what the market says,
Yeah.
nothing. He doesn't, he feels.
He doesn't need the money.
And
He
what about-
needs to sell birds.
You guys have met, both of you have met guys like Mark Canis, Ken Easley,
I know
all the American guys.
I was in Mark's off the immigrants. I saw
That's it.
with Mix.
You were at Mark's auction, am I right?
Yeah.
And are they inbred pigeons?
What I can say is that on the auction.
Or have you spoken to him about it?
No, never spoken to him.
Yeah, but,
when I was
but
at
you've been
when I was at the auction, from what I can remember, all the pedigrees, there was no pigeons that were inbred. Well, I say no, but like I say, I can't remember all the pedigrees. But the birds I bought there, they weren't inbred. And maybe they're selected, I don't know. But they weren't inbred. But when we walked through the loft, he was talking to another man there, and he said, yeah, you know, that's, it was mix, I'm sure.
Yeah, he
said,
said mix, yeah.
I said, that's, you know, I understand to be correct, but it was inbred. He's like, oh, that's mixed to a son, or it was mixed to a brother. Whatever the case was, I thought, that's, you know, he's obviously been breeding the other birds.
Mark must be one of the most successful guys in international.
Yes.
I mean, he's
So it's got a
he's
good
got a
track
track
record.
record.
Yeah. He's been doing it for many years, buys a lot of good birds.
The guys the best, eh?
Yeah, the best available birds. So your the thing of inbreeding, I don't
But
totally.
Joe, you've never done it.
Only one thing. Exactly what you were saying with the chocolate cock. That I believe. And I've seen it on more times than one. Grandfather to granddaughter. What I'd like to still do, and I don't know, and it's not impossible, because within a year, pigeons can mature. I'd love to take granddaughter, father to great-granddaughter.
Yeah.
And just see, I mean, maybe it's a bit too far, but what's nice is that granddaughter or great-granddaughter must just be crossed and performing little hen, you know, that's flown, and then put it back to a super pigeon, like the great-grandfather or grandfather. And I'm telling you, I bred, and you know the cock I'm talking about. I gave you the white cock that broke his wing years ago. Now the mom was like that. Was the cripple hen's mother to, now you hit the blank. Anyhow, she was, a cripple hen's son to another blank. Hallelujah.
Cripple hen's mother.
No, that was the.
It was grandson to grandmother. And she brought me, I called her the double ring hen. And she was my number one stock hen. She bred champion. But that white cocker broke his wing.
So now I've got something against Joe. Because he's
But
put
only
you and me-
only
hold
that.
on, Joe.
Only that.
Because he's put me and you.
No, but I'm talking about brothers and sisters and
Joe.
cousins.
I can tell you another thing where Joe will also know, and exactly what he just said.
But he's put both of us off there completely.
Yeah.
Because my judgment of pigeons got majority. I've got my own likes, but majority of what Joe's taught me over the years.
I can't be right all the time.
But it's worth.
Otherwise, then I'd be a woman. Female person.
Listen, you're 100% right 50% of the time. So
Yeah.
That's okay. Thanks, man. You know, if you were a chick, even if you had a beard, you could do something right now.
So I had a pet, we had a pair of birds. It was cousins.
Cousin, so just let me tell you quickly. There was a guy in Foxwood Club, from Fossey.
Oh, yes.
Joe knows him well. He came over and the guy said, "You will never race in Boston." Yeah, it's.
Yeah, here's the
Here's the
university.
university. And unfortunately, he said to me, "Russ, I've got a family." But he said to me, legally, even in humans, we're allowed to make cousins to cousins.
Yeah.
It's allowed. So my family is that close. I'll bring him later.
Yeah.
But you know, went to the prize giving. His bucky couldn't carry the trophies.
Yeah. But anyway,
That was unfortunate.
so we bred cousins, me and Joe.
Joe.
Joe was involved in it.
Joe.
We bred
Answer
a
that question.
big cock. Remember that big cock? It was you in the middle section on the right hand side, and second box down, it was a big cock like this. Up monster.
Oh, that blue white fly.
A huge cock. Couldn't race to save his life.
Oh,
In the Willowwood section, he bred me good ones.
Did he?
He
by
did.
luck.
But
But he was probably crossed him.
yeah, he was crossed there, but he was so a tank, a real tank, and he couldn't race.
Mm.
But he did breed them.
There's many ways to
do all
There's
that.
many ways. But I think if you want the shorter,
If you want to race and you want to breed it, you have time to breed.
Wait for a year,
Wait
and
for a year.
that's why I say it's easier like taking, I'm using this bird as an example.
Yeah.
But I think as a pigeon man, I like this pigeon. I like his character. I like everything about this pigeon. I know that he's flown well.
Let's just, by the way, say this pigeon's brand new. Joe never knew him from a forest, so
None of us.
none of us had.
No.
Joe went outside, spoke to the bird, and said he'll be calm inside here. So now,
No.
What was the same?
But your chances of, sorry,
Yeah.
your chances of hitting a superstar,
Mm.
if you take him to an equally good hen that's not related to him,
Yeah.
are pretty good. He's pretty good
Yeah.
with a young hen. Maybe I don't know his history. He might be too bloody inbred, but it sounds like he raced well. 'Cause he's got.
but you know the guy where he comes from.
Yes, the old man. What is that? Yep. Well, I presume so. I presume it's Yep, because it's that
Another
family.
legend in South Africa.
Yeah, down in the Cape. Look, he might have. He's not a young man anymore. He's still alive, but I've heard of his name mentioned in the Cape
Oh,
with a lot of respect. And but I love this type of pigeon. Cardinal Wegg, it's a Weggy apparently. There's old families of good pigeons don't die. All our birds come from something previous.
That's
Yes, we manipulated
That's not the
them.
subject I want to get onto.
We manipulated
I want to get onto
the
the subject with you.
Okay, but let me just finish up with
He
this.
just wants to give you a beard.
That's
The
fine.
one thing about pigeon race,
Thanks, Jamie.
young Russell. The problem with, not the problem, I said the problem,
The challenge.
No, the thing with pigeon racing.
Use the correct
Analogy.
We're from Banana.
You've got to speak into the mic.
Sorry, from Banana we got the right
Analogy.
Analogy. Thanks, Joe.
Not anal G. Anal G. Ali G's little brother. Sorry, let's keep it real. Keep it real. No Vaseline.
Sorry, it's a personal journey, pigeon racing.
Yeah, it is. Hey, that's one.
That's the other thing I wanted to ask
It's a
Joe.
personal journey.
It takes, it's a thing between you
Your
and
creativity.
and your pigeons.
Yeah.
Your own creativity.
If I take them and inbreed them and they work for
Oh,
me
that's wonderful.
in the way that I need them to work for me,
Yeah.
that's great. If it's
I hear what you say, Carl, but we're trying to generalize here because we're trying to help a lot of the podcasts. We're trying to generalize. Well, I say generalize, but we're trying to
Simplify.
simplify and help.
yeah, so
Most of
what
the
I'm
coming
going
in.
to say
So
is
it's not
I've met fancies where their opinion is right,
no matter what.
no matter what.
That's
When it's
also
wrong, it's right until it is right. I understand. They
That's
wait
usually
until
you can get it.
they wait until the exception to the rule comes along, and I say, you see, I told you.
It's his
My
famous
brother
exception
and
to the
sister
rule.
can breed a golden eagle. But that is the exception to the rule. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm not, I actually say this, they know 20 golden eagles, but for those 20, there'll be 200 that aren't.
Yeah.
So it will be the exception.
That's just what I'm saying, exception to the rule.
And
It's good.
And so,
I don't want to use your analogy of the village.
so with it being a personal journey, you must decide for yourself. If you decide that those pigeons is the first to your loft and that you regard as success, or if it's the first to your club and you regard that as just
So it depends
success,
what your aim is, really.
Yes.
and you got to be real with this.
Yeah.
You got to say, listen, who am I racing against?
Mm.
You know,
Yeah.
is this competition the right competition? Because believe you me,
That's
there's
the youngster that we had today, the novice from this division. He wants to race at the top level and he doesn't
the
want
next thing, you know, and then you've got to say, look, is my standard on organisational level, and is my organisational understanding or then you can hit the combine, which I mean, in the Gauteng combine, which I suppose is the best of the best. You know what I mean? So if you find that you inbreed your pigeons and you're winning combines, if you're in the top, I'd say, look, there's 500 teams. I think 400 and something teams.
I think it's about 500.
Yeah, so if there's 500, and you can say, listen, I end in the top 50. You're ending in the top 10%. I think that is a good bar to set yourself, no matter where you're at. Set yourself the top 10%. And if your inbreeding works for that, good for you. You know what I mean? If crossing works for you, good for you. But you've got to come to terms with it and be honest with yourself and say, listen, but you know, where I am racing, you know, it's a bit who just wants to, he keeps them as pets and he puts them in on a weekend. It's not Case Lowe who's a professional.
Yeah, he wants to win. He goes and trains and he tries the best.
You know,
Tries, he does his best.
And you know, I use the leg as an example, but it is what it is. You've got to look at who you're racing against.
As is a superstar.
Yeah, 100%. He lives and breathes pigeons. Like Kevin Kitchen lives and breathes pigeons. So you're racing against those guys, and I mean that's the people I'm racing against. So I mean it might sound a bit biased, but it's genuine. I mean I'm more biased towards Benoni, but I mentioned Case, I mentioned Barney, Deadlifts, professionals, and they know what they're doing.
I think we must also, when we mentioned Barney, just in the background, John.
Yeah.
John puts a hell of a lot of effort.
Effort,
I've
yeah.
spoken to John a few times.
The reason I say Barney is because obviously because of the Dino King story and
But
that's
John-
Daniel.
John is a
Top fencer.
he's a top fencer, but if you get to know him, you can hear that the guy's a hell of a competitor.
John loves to win.
And John's a winner. Eh?
No,
John doesn't. If you speak to him, you can hear
his desire.
His desire is to win.
Yeah, John, driven to win.
And John, am I right, John? You know them both better than me.
Yeah, no, John
I mean,
is
you know them.
very
You've known them for years.
even more so, I think, than Barney. Barney's a bit more. I think Barney is more laid back.
Yeah. But
And
John's
And
very
that's,
determined.
and that's I think, an ideal combination.
Yeah, because John's very determined.
Yeah,
John's like the, he wants to win at all costs.
Yeah.
And if you look what I like about John, and if you don't know him, people think he's a little bit abrupt. But if you get to know him, if you get to know the guy, he helps a lot of people.
Yeah.
He helped that Madeleine.
Lady.
Yeah.
P.
Yes.
Yes, he told me.
And she's a female fancier. I mean,
Oh,
she's
that's wonderful.
won.
Female fencers are great.
Yeah.
A lot of guys get divorced and never see another race result in their lives.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I raced well with my mother-in-law.
Look after your birds.
Yeah.
So you know what the one thing that I'll say is that it's a personal journey, and if you receive enough advice, it eventually cancels to zero.
Explain that.
The more advice you get, the more it's going to cancel itself out, so it means nothing. When you want to start,
No, lost you.
enough advice cancels to zero, so it's the same as not receiving any advice.
Too much, what you say is too much.
Too much advice is the wrong thing. If you find someone that one
Just on that, we've got a certain member in our club, and he's gone and got advice from. He's bought the best. He's got advice from everyone, and he really doesn't race.
No, but see, that's what I'm
So
saying.
that goes for many guys. I think always choose a guy or two guys. Top, like Madeleine did with Joe.
Not Joe, but anybody
No,
else.
not Joe. But anybody else. Can get Joe to select.
Yeah, 100%. And that's what I'm saying. Is find someone who can. It's what I did. I found Pat Rights. He gave me a system. I found the system today. It's been modified, but
I think that's important, Tyrone. You still got to modify to suit yourself a little bit here
because it's still a personal journey.
Yeah.
But don't think I can get my medication from Joe, get my feeding from you, get my training from Andres. No.
Yeah.
Because your feeding might not agree with my training, might not agree. Correct. You understand?
And even sometimes, something as simple as a loft's conditions. Now, my partner used to be with Gat, it's no secret, the loft was extremely cold. It was really everything opposite to the loft. I see all these like putting things in their loft. Yes, it was cold. And then there was a whole lot of trees growing, so the little bit of sun that was there was blocked out. And then he still built up used to get sun down, and he put up a concrete thing. So the loft was really cold, and it was concrete all around. So it sounds weird, but I could clearly see it when I used to give the pigeons open loft. They were dying to go to that sun. They couldn't wait to sit on the roof in the sun. So my feeding system changed, and that's why my use of peanuts, I think, worked a lot there as well. Because it is so cold there that they would most probably be burning, and this is not with scientific proof, they must probably be burning a little bit extra energy than a warm loft, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So it's strange, but there it goes again to drink show. It's strange, but so sometimes you've got to adapt to the conditions, you know. Like wet weather tires are for wet weather, you know.
Yeah.
So very interesting, but yeah. That's what makes many, you said, personal journey. One fancier once equated it to me, and I thought it was very clever. He said, look on the floor. And I looked and it was tiling. And he said, you see all those lines? Many of the roads lead to Rome. So maybe different oaks try different things.
And that's one.
You can't listen to everybody, because then it will confuse you.
And that's the thing, Joe. You know, if when we raced, we ended up, you know, first and second on the long distances. So two different lofts and two totally different methods of racing. Yeah, and we ended up our first and second, but it was totally different systems.
But it shows you the only little things that birds are there. In the
Okay,
long
now
distance,
we're
if
going
you
to
don't
change
have
up to
pigeons.
normal electricity now. In South Africa, we're going to change it back to.
Okay, so now we're swearing. No, we're not allowed to swear.
Embark.
Oh, you? Oh.
It's got time you were talking about.
I can't remember.
The reality of racing is proper.
No, it's just that you just got to be honest with yourself about who you're racing against, and just decide how you're going to measure your success. Where you're going to measure. Is it in your own loft, club, fed? And if you're going to send birds to one loft,
And that's a different story.
can you send them with an open loft? Can you send them there and say, look, I think these birds can compete? When you're only competing against an average set of dances, I don't know. You know, you just got to be honest with yourself.
The pigeon didn't like your comment there.
I don't know.
Because he said, do you think I've beaten average set of fences at it?
Nah.
Just apologize to the bird. Podcast is talking shit.
But yeah, it's just a personal thing that you've got to decide on.
The problem, what Tyrone says is probably right. Sometimes your situation is, I live in an area where I can only race against these guys.
That's the thing. You can. Tyrone said, I can't believe this comes up with these clever flipping one-liners. You can only race. I can only race against what's put against up against me. It's the truth. They put in front of you. It's the truth.
It's the truth. But I mean,
You can't all live in little Belgium. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because people
Where's
sort of
that
prefer.
banana? Is that banana?
I don't know. We're not little enough. But I mean, people live in houses. Pigeon, there's no racetrack, so and oaks.
but there is racetracks. It's one lot.
Oh yeah. That's the next.
Yeah,
That's the future.
That's
I
the
think, for the
future,
sport.
yeah.
I think that's where it's going to go to. That will be the racetrack of our pigeon sport.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like,
In my time, maybe.
if you are the ultimate champion wherever you race, and like I've done well where I race, and then
You'll improve all that.
I do well at one loss, but maybe not the best one off.
No.
But anyway,
But everything changes, Ty. You're working with a graph, you can see everything. People rush too much. You know, when you race in your season, you have 20 races, or 15 races, or 18 races. You have certain weeks that you below par, you come up and you win 5 unions or 3 races. But there's,
Depending if you charge of the clock on it.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, but
That's
he's
a different
too
story.
stupid, he doesn't know.
No, he doesn't know.
He doesn't even know how to switch on his bloody alarm.
Just getting on to that, I think John Field set a record in our cup. How many feds did
I
he
think he
win?
won 7 or 8. Something crazy.
1 year.
I think he won 7 at least.
Amazing.
Maybe I'm talking crap.
But I think definitely 7, but I think it's 8.
I think it's more. I thought it was
Yeah.
What about 10? Ask John, he's in America, he'll know. Americans are never wrong.
His son's bachelor's.
Yeah.
No.
I'm sure he's not drinking. I'm sure John's not drinking anything. It's a very good one.
He wouldn't be.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, John.
Yes, it was amazing. And then he tunes me.
And he was second in the club.
Says he was battling with a baby.
Oh no, he was third.
Who was second?
Me.
You're second.
Yes.
So how's that? John wins.
And who beat you? Some unknown. No.
No, someone.
Somebody by the name of Kevin.
Kevin. Kevin. Sounds like an Aussie. Kevin.
Kevin.
Yeah,
You can't. Only way you're going to beat Kevin, I'm going to tell you now. Is,
John, give us a tip on how to beat
I'll
Kevin.
tell you how to beat Kevin. I can beat Kevin. I'll make it back. I'm going to make
Make a comeback.
I'll tell you I'm going to beat Kevin. I'm going to make an embargo on all petrol imports into South Africa. There's Kevin fun. You'll have to, no, you'll have to bicycle that. He can toss a lot further than his bike than me.
He's got Saki.
Oh. No, but without petrol, doesn't matter if you got Saki.
Make Saki pen.
Oh, yeah. That's also, he's got a tandem bike.
Yeah.
You can toss your boots. I'm not going to toss. I'm not tossing on my bike. I'm there. No, I'm rather staying retired. Retired.
So just getting back to the pigeon game in South Africa. Jokey, you all very fine. So I'm going to invite them to the podcast. We've got a few ladies that race pigeons.
Yes.
Oh, that's where we were.
Yeah.
Mustn't swear. Sorry, ladies.
No,
This is terrible. I didn't know.
So we
it was
got
for
like
ladies and children.
Morag.
Morag.
Morag. We've got
Madeleine.
Madeleine.
There's a lady in the Cape.
And the lady in Alberton, what's her name? Candice.
Oh, is there a lady?
Candice.
There's a lady in the Cape I met.
Bradbury.
Candice Bradbury.
There's another lady that's in the Cape. Really?
Races in Bradbury's team.
What's her name?
But Candice doesn't want to work because Monet is away. Monet is away a lot. So Candice is a good fancier.
Okay.
Morag is races.
She's a proper fancier.
Yeah.
She's Morag said
I think-
she's the fanciest. She's not.
And Madeleine's also
Is
a
it like
fancier.
that?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, there's another lady. We always now recently in the Cape.
You remember, is Trisha fancy or not?
Dasha, yes. My friend, hello, Dasha.
You know that.
I'm sorry about the fruit weather.
Yeah, you know her quite well.
Dasha Engelbrecht and Jannie, yeah. Very
Is
good.
she the fancier?
She's the fancier. She's a proper fancier. So not just,
Yeah.
Jannie's also loves his pigeons.
Yeah.
Dasha's, and I know for years, she's a proper fancier. Sorry. But there's another lady, and I keep my mind.
So we're going to get some of those on the podcast to find out, because that can broaden the.
Yeah.
But I believe it's got to be spread to, and I think women have always got a special touch with pigeons.
No, not that.
There's definitely something to it. The birds like it, man. Men are too. The more relaxed I got, the better my pigeons were. Genuinely. You know this nonsense of, I must rush to the club, I must do this, and I can't toss at 10. Birds don't want that. I promise you, you need birds. I know it's not everybody. Can't have a loft of 100 pigeons like us. Forget it. No, I can't even breathe. But you need to feel relaxed, because many years ago, one old toppy told me, you know, when I'm feeling sick, I don't feel like it. My birds don't seem to be nice. They pick up on vibes. I'm a very spiritual
That was my point of
pigeon.
view. Explain that spiritual point of view.
I can't explain it. But you do get a sense of spirituality in the sport. And I mean, I'm still battling to understand pigeons. And I've spent a lot of time with the animals. I love them. And that's what I find more interesting than winning races. I'll be honest, from my personal thing. I find that it's the intriguing part, the mystery of the sport. What makes a good pigeon tick? How do you breed a good pigeon? A really good one. How did it happen? What makes that pigeon, amongst thousands of birds, keep coming in front?
Yeah.
How does it work? You know, and it's such a beautiful thing. And I've been involved from a little boy, and I still don't have the answer. So that's what keeps the mystery alive, I think.
That's phenomenal.
And it's phenomenal. I think it's one of the most beautiful godsend watches.
Oh, one at 156.
Mm.
She was a silver.
Yes, one at 156. And she's the mom of she mated to the chocolate inbred cock that we're not supposed to do. Cadbury was his name. No, he died before I could call him Cadbury. She was She was mated to him and bred this, so we call it the Zeman.
Oh, yeah.
Not really a Zeman, but there's a story behind the Zeman. She's not really a Zeman, but
she's pretty good.
we just,
So
so that's her
one at
nickname.
156, I mean,
She's a great thing.
I'll remember.
Oh, sorry. Let me give you a little bit of a polish there on your six-pack. Remember, the Zeman was the granny of the fourth ace bird 2 years ago at Vic Falls, called Bazooka Joe.
Yeah.
We gave her a daughter verse to Polo Polo.
Yes.
Okay, and with a cock of mine, 14069. So you can polish mine now. Takes a bit longer.
Fail.
Cattle.
But the one at 156, and I can remember racing it. And I came to the club one day, and Jay had his old Mark Ali Bulla Boca.
The bucky, yeah. That was a lekker bucky.
And you remember what's his name, Bigger?
Oh, David.
David.
That's the David
But
for
on the back of that canopy, he wrote there 18156 or bust. I'll never forget. And she raced like she was a superstar. I mean, on the short distance, she was a killer.
Yeah.
And I remember picking up in the loft and saying, what a pleasure it is to race.
Yeah.
I know I put you in, you
Come, yeah. That's, when you got birds like that, you can't believe a bird can be so good. Like those locks of yours that year. You think they're going to fail, they don't fail. All it does is they swap. This one was first, that one was second, that one was third, that one. But it can happen. But you need to be competitive area to try and raise your standard. If you're not in a competitive, then anything wins. A win is a win. A win's a win. You can only beat the people.
You can only race when you race.
That's correct, yeah. But you can
And then
still.
if you want to up it, like
You have to-
you can go to the one-offs and compare yourself against
Yes. That's the future.
top fanciers, breeding, and then
Yeah, and
judge
hopefully
yourself from there. And then
that's it.
some of the guys I know have bought pigeons on the auctions from the one-offs and they improved themselves.
They will. And you know what's nice? Now, sorry, coming back to anti-inbreed. The nice thing, another thing I can state here, I like breeding out of young pigeons. There's nothing wrong with breeding out of old pigeons, but my experiences, this is just a personal experience. Once a hen gets to 5 years old, normally, so there's exceptions to the rule, as you say, use it a lot. That's my get out of jail card. Is
strike rate does decrease.
it does decrease, and I've asked a lot of my good mates that never believed me. I said, Joe, you were right.
Amish is not.
They definitely do take a dip, you know. And there's nothing wrong with that hen then maybe to use their progeny for
But they use
stock.
older cocks.
But the older cock, but the egg quality has got to come from a hen that's young. You'll find most gold medal pigeons, silver medal pigeons, blah 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 blah. But moms on there's exceptions to the rule again. Most of them are not beyond 5 years old, 4 years old, 5 years. And then suddenly that hen just breeds a nice pigeon, but no longer that champion pigeon. So is it interesting or is it by coincidence? I think I'm under correction here. But a great pigeon like Cannibal, his mom was a year old. If you go and I had the great pleasure of handling Rambo. That was Cannibal's direct father at Dirk van Dijk. About 10 years, maybe 12. I can't remember. He was an old man. He was an old cock, but what a lovely pigeon. Blue with a little white tail on the head. Nut eye, a lovely pigeon. Really a nice.
You know what I'll never forget that? You know, just strict on pigeons and doesn't like. Chooses 2 babies out of 50.
Oh gosh.
Joe went to the Howlands
Oh yes.
on his one trip to Belgium.
Went there for John, yeah.
And he said to me, he told me, he said,
Yeah.
"Guys, I can't explain to you." He said, I couldn't get one baby pigeon out.
Not,
babies.
and those were the babies.
Out of all the babies I had, I couldn't get
It
one
was
baby out.
just before they had
The dad had died then.
the old man Jeff had passed away. And through August Dillemans, I went there just to look, not to buy birds, although they were available, you know, with the Belgian oaks.
But those babies all sold to China.
They were already going to China. It was over 40 in China. They were all mostly light checkers like that pigeon there. And he said to me, the youngster Luke, he said, Joe, if you want to walk up there into my dad's loft, and go up there. There's some babies there that you can stuff it. I wasn't so duck, so I managed to get through there. And August and him sat there talking. You should have seen it. One of my greatest disappointments is I never took a video of the trophy cabinet. Trophies, China, this size, gold plated, crystal stuff. I was so taken aback. I sat there and I didn't film it. Stupid. But anyhow, sorry, that's the other story. Anyhow, so I went up there, and August and then went down there. And then I stood there. And you know, normally I don't catch a pigeon twice. So I catch a hen. This lovely hen, eh? Down. Catch another one, lovely hen, down. So, but this is the same. Lovely hen, down. No, man, I've had you already. Then I catch the blue one. Lovely. Stuff. I start counting. I start making plans. I go there. I haven't seen that one. I haven't seen all of them. I couldn't find one. I thought, no, man. I've got to go again.
Yeah.
I went. I couldn't find one pigeon. But I did not lie. And at the end, it's not to say they were all good birds, but the standard was high. And exactly what Luke said to me. This is where the big kicker comes in. Jeff Hoban was a pigeon master. His father, can't remember the old man's name, was also a great pigeon fancier. So the old man, and then Jeff, and then Luke. Luke and his sister that were more pigeon lovers, keepers with their parents, with Nadia and them. And the difference was, he said to me, Joe, all I did was I did the pedigrees for my father. But when it comes to the thing of pigeons, the art of pigeons, I've got no clue. He told me straight. He says, I'm going to have to sell all these pigeons because I'm basically going to mess everything up. I've kept the pairs exactly because the records are there. The dad so just carried on reading. And then the biggest mistake some people made, I offered it to them. And this was just after a day after they had these big bombs in Brussels.
Yeah.
I just missed it. I landed, and the next day they blew up that whole Brussels airport. I went through that place where they exploded the people, myself, and another fancy. So in any case, I was handing these birds.
Was that with Frank?
Frank Ferreira. So I was handing the birds, and I looked. He brought me, before I went to the babies, he brought me a little box with about 5 stock box. I went through. Each with a characteristic. Birds you can work with. And then I said to him, now look, he says, yeah, I can sell you babies out of that. He says, anything that's a certain age, I can't remember. Over 5 years, I charge you €1,000 each. I remember that distinctly. Anything below 5 years, I'll charge you 500 Rand a baby.
Euros.
No, sorry, euros.
500 Rand.
We would have taken them all. 500 euros each. And I still sent to top fanciers here. I said, I'm in the loft here, China. You're also looking for Hobans. Yeah, I'm right here. The last opportunity. And they never took it up. Biggest mistake they did. I was there. I saw it.
What about your partner?
No, well, I didn't ask him.
You should have.
I didn't ask that. But that was my own fault. But that was when you buy diamonds in the shop, but when you go where they mine them, that's where they were being mined. Right there. The birds were there. And that loft then was the whole loft, he said to me. They sold the whole loft to China and then obviously gone. The whole dynasty's gone. But that was the opportunity, that man's life work.
I know.
And great pigeons. Let me tell you, great, not average, great pigeons.
When
it was incredible. It was one of the nicest lofts. And the biggest mistake I made, I never went to Marcel Albrecht's loft. I was offered the opportunity and we just ran out of time.
Yeah.
That was a mistake.
Great fancy.
Yeah.
But what happened, I still know where I saw it. But they said there was, people would come and camp out.
That's him. Yeah.
Outside Jeff Hoban's
Yeah,
house.
the whole street, that street.
In the street.
And you know what was so funny? He had a loft like this.
And it's,
And he never doctored the cocks,
and they said,
No,
listen,
everybody used to come there. They used to sit there having beers. You know, like it was like watching a rugby
I
match.
said, listen, is this the Tour de France?
Yeah.
I said, no, Jeff's flocking his pigeons.
Right. And you see those cocks. There's the cocks, China. You walk in there, they want to fuck you up.
Yeah.
You know, What are you doing here?
Yeah,
man?
7.42 on top of us. Wow.
Yeah, I love it. Those widow got. But now out of my, I still got, there's a nephew of his called, is a great young fancy. I met him with Fred, Jella Rosiers.
Yeah, well, he's a good one.
Now Jella, at Jella, I went there, and he's got really the open, he's got a pigeon Oklahoma. I'm stupid, I should have got children there. I think Oklahoma might be
superstar.
Yeah. I got there. There was still a dark chicken. She looked like the old slimmer puppies.
Yeah.
Dark. And she was, I think her name was Nadia or something. She was a full sister to the last best bird. Yeah, no, yes.
So what did you say to this? Did you give him drugs?
Yes, look here, you've got to sit in the mouth. That's just for you.
Take that for test.
Take it for
So do
testing.
you think it will test positive?
He's dying, you know what he's dying to do? Die. Put the water on the floor, he's dying to hop off. Just to stretch his legs. I think he's dying to do that. There you go.
There you go.
If you're not, I think he's thinking now, yeah, bro. Why don't I just walk a bit?
Yes, you've been sitting there for fear. Okay, so just getting on to the next point, Joe. We talked about the lady fancies. And that'll be our next podcast. But what do you guys think of further ideas for our podcast? Because we have it weekly now. Just because we obviously want to promote, we want to.
If you're thinking of lady fancies, why don't you have lady presenters?
Okay.
No, but keep the cameras off.
So,
We got
on the wrong road.
we got Barnard coming in. He wants to start racing pigeons. He's going to bring his great LNG friend.
No, Joe.
no,
So
so
not that.
I think if you
You've got other ideas besides the lady fancies, and besides the Juno with the community laughs, with that, all of that. But any other ideas?
What I wouldn't do is saturate it and try and push it out every week. You could, if you can, and initially it
As
might
long
be
as it's
fine.
good material.
Yeah, but try and get top fanciers from different parts of the country.
I've got a list of.
Why don't
That's
you
what-
Obviously, we've got the vets, we've got the fanciers.
speak to our club Piet? Piet's moving down to the coast in April.
One is a serious one.
Piet,
And you know what's
got
good?
around there. He's
What's
still here.
good?
He's coming here on Tuesday.
Get top fanciers with top vets.
We've got that.
And get that opinion. I think that'll be very interesting. To what the vets say, to what fanciers on the ground are performing one or three. I think that.
I think, and then obviously what I'm going to be doing, what I'm going to be trying to do, is obviously the organisations that clash. So we get like a representative from one.
GRPA and
Or
GRPF or
Yeah.
GRQ.
There's some organisations on the round belong to Santa.
Oh.
So I want to get them on and hear their point of view.
Another good one, whether we do it or not, I don't know, is the Crawler, TRPF chairman. I mean, he bought that TRPF back from the dead. The TRPF was gone until, and I'll be honest with you, I think he bought it back.
No, there's no doubt there. There's no doubt. But saying that, that's a top business.
Yeah.
So a good fancier.
That's a good fancier. And on top of that, he's a good businessman. So obviously, we'd like to hear his vision.
Yeah.
Where the sport's going,
What you should do as an opportunity while you've got, I don't know how,
Can
can I give you a big word?
Yes.
How eloquent he's going to be.
We don't need eloquence on the show, Joe. We want reality.
The eloquent, what do you got?
Eloquent. What are you talking about?
No. I'm just talking about longevity in the sport.
Mm-hmm.
An old man like Louis, at some stage. Look, he's not going to be open and chat. But it'd be nice to have, it's 94, still racing pigeons, talking about just a little bit. You know what I mean? Before you cross.
season,
Because once he's gone, he's gone. Edit this out. You're going to leave it. Just telling yeah, because I might correct before you.
But saying that, what Vinant's done, Cornelius,
Yeah.
that I mean so much respect.
Yeah, to help Louis carry on.
And not respect, even in the, and personally, I'm going to give Vinant so much respect. That supports me,
Avena.
he's brought, we Merwe here and said to him, "We buy only from Russell. Whatever you buy, I'll pay."
Yeah.
And that's his instruction. I mean, Barnard is like a. That is, you know, when you talk about loyalty in people, talk about Barnard convenience.
Yeah.
China, that is so loyal. It's unbelievable.
He's a good guy. I'm very fond of him.
You know, Barnard.
Very well. No, he's a genuine. There's
I
no.
want to go retire with Barnard when he puts his clock down on his
He was
head.
in bucket. He was 18 years old when I rolled everyone.
No, we'll forget that story. But Barnard respected, yeah, and what he's done for Merwe, few people will do.
And you know, what I was going to say to you was, at the end of the season, we were sitting, I don't know if you were sitting with us, but me and John Field and I know it was me, John, and Kevin. And I don't know if you were there. And Louis walked out. And he came, put his arm around Kevin and said, "It wasn't for you blokes. I wouldn't be racing."
I was there.
Were you there? Because I can remember Kevin and then me and you might have been by the
Yeah, I
bars.
was there.
And he said, "I wouldn't be racing because you are to make me come back." And not now saying that but it's just that a man who's been the chairman, champion, he's done it all.
He's done it all, man.
I like it. And we actually very
Have you
gifted.
made differences, eh?
Yo, even I told you, the one time we
I've
wanted
made
to
differences
suspend me.
too, man.
Fuck it, that's him in the past. Sport's always bigger,
Than the person.
but as long as not cheating.
Yeah.
There's a big difference.
Yeah. So we got two guys like that in our club, which we're fortunate. We got Frick now
Yeah,
and we got Rudy Ocher. I mean, those guys have been
around forever.
forever and ever. Frick's been
Decorated.
for his judging, for his flying, for
No,
his
Frick
admin.
was a good judge.
Frick was the top. He is a top judge. His son's doing really well, Colin.
Maybe we should one day have a father-son team. Yeah.
Yes.
Get Colin.
Yeah, that's what we need to get ideas of what we're going to.
I think it would be lekker. I really think it's up to you, whatever you decide to air. But as long as it's interesting, because I mean, we rambled on you a lot, and eventually you think, yes, you go switch off the
I think that.
Joey, what we want to get away from is the seriousness and
But that's why you know me. I'm always Adler.
yeah,
Let's just carry on.
yeah.
The mic and the camera's not even here. You know, because what you need in pigeons is honesty, and cut the bullshit and cut this. You get some oaks. You'll have them here. They're trying to sell their pigeons all the time. They're trying to get you to go and fucking invest in pigeons. But there's enough pigeons. One thing I wanted to say, sorry, is with one loft races, what it does do for the beginner, the opportunity currently to go and buy young pigeons that are unrelated. You don't have to be a rocket scientist or a pigeon guru or whatever. Just go there, make sure you get the right sexes, because I've tried it. Cocks and cocks don't breed, hens and hens don't breed. I've tried it.
Yeah.
But so even if you don't know, just make sure they're not related. If you buy yourself 3 pairs of birds from Dinner King, cheapish ones, you'll fly not too bad.
Yeah.
Because they've survived all that stuff. Just to keep not everybody's got an unlimited budget. You know what I mean? But you need those people in the sport because they buy food. They that. There's a whole, like you said, pigeon economy in it. And the only way to what's lacking is with these one-off races, you get your expensive birds, blah, 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 and then you get a lot of nice, affordable birds that are maybe sometimes even better than all those big name birds. And it's one from Tyrone, one from Russell, one from Joe, one from Pete. And you make them and there they go. And make their own stories. Forget purebred birds, man. Forget all these fancy pedigrees. Leave that to the Lani expensive oaks. Let them and then you can, just to promote the sport, that's my whole idea.
And genuinely, the guys that said to the one loss, I mean, obviously,
they try and send out the better stuff.
They have to send out the best.
No, so
I asked you earlier on, did you send out your second best or your first? What did you send?
In my, that's.
Did you send out your best?
Absolutely.
And sometimes I buy all their birds back. The birds are there, affordable birds. If you think now to try and buy birds from overseas, I think just to get them in, with all the rig morale, that's over 5K.
Okay.
just to import
You would
it.
know that.
Plus, yeah,
They've been put like
they've just-
30, 40
they've just done
I mean,
it. But I mean, yes, the birds have been trained. Hopefully they're not going to get sick and croak.
Yeah.
Because you know they've gone. So you limit your losses.
Yes.
And it's cheaper. And the beginner doesn't want to struggle with all problems and problems.
Okay, so just to recap then, or to follow on our podcast. We've got the ladies coming. I'm going to find them on Monday and set up for them. The doctors and some of the top fanciers, obviously,
Yes.
I've got all in that.
Yes.
Any other,
You're going to be back then, I suppose.
say again?
You're going to have me back then, I suppose.
I have to have you back.
He said-
You're going to be back.
You said top fancy.
You're going to be part of us.
No, what I was going to say as well, Russ, is, and maybe we can maybe do this podcast with me and Joe and you again, and try to go into a bit more of my system and like even, I mean, like I said, Joe would never advise anyone as Joe's system, but maybe Joe should give his advice.
Yeah, you can.
And because my system is exactly what Joe's saying here. You don't have to be a great fancier. If you go in and you're buying top birds from a one loft, you're already getting a shortcut to the genetics. If you follow my system, which is not my system, it's Pat Wright's system, you're getting a shortcut, you're eliminating problems. When I say eliminating
I must just say something about it. Tyrone's never been stingy to give that
Info,
system to you. And the same with you, John. I must say, both of you have never been holding back on giving the full
No,
system.
there's-
But especially I've seen give the full system to everybody.
And that's what, and we'll obviously go into more depth of it, but I'm saying is fly the sexes separated. Because you don't have cocks driving, you don't have eggy hens, you don't have to know that. Joe will look at his hand and say, that ain't eggy, that cock's driving.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're not that advanced, you
Yes.
separate the sexes.
Simplify.
You know what I mean?
100%.
You just start eliminating issues, you pull the flights. A lot of guys will argue, a lot of guys will fight when they watch this and say you can't pull flights. All my gold medals, all my silver medals, bronze medals, Fed winners, every one of them, the flights
As
is
young
pulled.
birds. As young.
And like I said, if it was one bird that was a little medal, I'd say maybe it was an exception. Every single one of them that flies
But you just
two dogs.
eliminate the problem.
You eliminate them
It's just one
in the
less thing to
middle
worry about.
in the middle of the season. That bird now gets to its 10th flight. You can't race it. You got this. You pull those flights. You don't have that issue. So there's a lot of things in my system that just makes it a lot easier for a beginner to race.
So I think the next one we'll have is just, will you explain your system, everything? Try to use it all. I remember the one Sun City $1 million. We were still at Sun City, and the guy won it, and Joe handled the bird, and the bird's flights were, obviously Joe can check the flights were shorter than 8 people, and Joe said to me, the year before I told the guy, pull the flights, and he listened, and he came to Joe.
The old Englishman, Mr. Claiborne.
Yeah. So
Mr.
he
and
came to
Mrs.
Joe-
Daughter.
He came to Joe and said, no, Joe, we're not here about that. So he came to Joe and said, I listened and I pulled the flights.
Mr. Claiborne was from England.
Yeah. Remember that?
Yes, Mr. Claiborne, yeah.
Yeah.
And he won
He won it with a little smoky
yes,
little
and
cough.
he had pulled the flights out.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's what they tell you. They say those flights are shorter, and they are.
Well, how much shorter time than
No,
millimeter?
But that's rather take that knock.
Then a
Then the
6
knock-
week knock of the
Yeah.
bird can't race because it's 10
Yeah.
flights short.
I mean,
So just getting back, so we agree on, we're going to come back ourselves.
Yeah.
On the small of the systems and
Yeah.
that. And we'll get maybe like Robert's want to pull from venting, you know,
And he does a lot of importation.
does the importation, give us a bit of history and difficulty of that. Joe, sorry we're keeping you alive.
Oh, sorry, John, I'm a grandfather, so.
And then the lady fanciers,
Sure, it's about
the
midnight now, isn't it?
champion fanciers, like casino,
Yeah.
when you walk out now, we can use economy.
Okay.
And then,
I'm gonna go to the restaurant.
wow.
I'm hungry. How do you know me? I haven't charged yet today. Or did we charge your place? I've got to do that.
No, that's not nice.
Okay, sorry.
So we agree on that, and then we'll go further from there. Thank you guys for coming.
Pleasure.
Thanks, and we'll take it further the next time.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.